Okay, we are live. Welcome again. I'm having so much fun doing these Friday Faith and Finances. And today I'm giddy excited because I have my very dear friend, Becky, who has joined me and agreed to let me just interview her. And so, okay, I'm going to share a little bit and then I'll let you introduce yourself and what you're doing now.
Okay.
So Becky and I met last year through a mastermind. Becky was one of the facilitators and I was a participant, and it was an amazing experience and we really connected. And I had just shared, just how I have a lot of baggage with money and like what do I do with this desire to make money? Is it okay to want that? Is it okay to feel this way? How do you navigate this, especially being so rooted in a community of faith? And Becky's like, I can help you. So we started meeting over the summer and really did a deep dive into a lot of mindset blocks that I have specifically around money. Becky is an absolute expert when it comes to money mindset and has so much to offer. So, but okay, Becky, I'm going to let you introduce yourself though and share more about what you've kind of zoned in on recently with your business.
Yeah, okay. Jody, it's so good to see you. I can't wait. So I live in Colorado and I'm a native here. And so once again, Jody actually came into the mastermind through LinkedIn. It was really cool. So it was just building relationships with these really amazing women to create a safe, emotionally safe place. Emotionally, I couldn't say it. Just to create a safe place for us to be who we are and in our business, because I really like the philosophy of creating a business that's more of a love story that's disguised as a business, that I'm really in here serving and loving on our clients and learning and serving ourselves for the stretching, because mastery comes with the stretching. So I'm a certified life coach. I'm a money mindset expert, but I'm also really focusing on helping ambitious women in real estate have more fun and make money.
Yeah.
And helping them get booked solid. So I'm a licensed professional book yourself solid pro. And so it's really that philosophy of building a customized marketing strategy from a proven business system. That is amazing, because with my realtor ladies, really working on setting them apart from a really noisy industry and learning how to just press into the freedom. That's the whole thing. That's my why. Let me tell you why that's my why. I watched my mom and dad build a country club lifestyle with 2 high school diplomas. So my dad sold corrugated packaging and my mom sold empty houses. And they were kind of cute, because my dad would say, yeah, I sell empty boxes and she sells empty houses. They're kind of cute. And then, the reality of life, there was a circumstance that happened when my dad was 47. He was suddenly killed in a car accident. And I watched my mom rise above that circumstance and really press into her business even more than she was before. Still 77 years old, she's still enjoying a country club lifestyle. And she was able to, about, I guess, 8 years after my dad passed, she decided, I'm done doing the real estate thing. So she packed up her stuff and moved to Vail and became a ski instructor. What I'm sharing with you is the power and the freedom of that piece of serving her clients, being in relationship with my dad to build a lifestyle with 2 high school diplomas that was really serving our family. But there was also paradigm around that too. We didn't talk about money. And so that's how I got interested in the money mindset piece, that we have these family paradigms and maybe even paradigms from our faith-based formation that is wired in our nervous system. And I use a technique that really helps with that emotional regulation, so that you can really get in touch with those feelings, take responsibility for them, and then do something about it. You can actually really shift it. So the paradigm doesn't have to be of struggle and suffer. And the more that we have, that we earn, the more we can share.
Yeah, absolutely. So passionate about this. I wanted to ask you, what is the one obstacle that you see with your clients, specifically women, who are in the entrepreneurial space? I know you work specifically with realtors, but you've also worked with other entrepreneurs too, several others. What's like the one theme, recurring theme that you see coming up that really holds women back in their mindset as it relates to money and business?
It's interesting. It really is that don't get too big for your britches. You don't want to be showy. You don't what's happening is that you be a good girl and make sure everybody likes you and don't offend anybody. And it's a silly thought when we really actually think about it, but it's something that we're all experiencing that's real. Look, man, I experienced it too. My degree, I have a Bachelor of Science in Human Services. I have over 30 years experience with mindset stuff. And, we really come into a place where it just gets more and more advanced every time, because a lot of times what happens is with that nervous system piece I was just sharing with you, our emotional intelligence can get stuck at about 7, 8, 9 years old. And that's how we operate as grown-ups.
Yep.
And we just got to honor that little person, be like, oh yeah, I can see why you're feeling that way. But here's the truth, my friend. As grown-ups, we get to decide. And what's so cool is that I'm working really hard to be in the process of collaborating in a sense where I can contribute. My husband has been the primary breadwinner for the 23 years that we've been married, stay-at-home mama, and I would do things that would be basically a professional volunteer. And so to shift my mindset from that piece of like, yeah, my value and my worth is that in exchange, look, money's just a tool. In exchange for my services, we're going to exchange money so that you can expedite what your gifts and talents is, what your hopes, your passions are. And you come from that place of being grounded in your feeling that inspires that action for you to get the results that you want, just based on what you're thinking.
Yeah. Why do you think there's so much emotion, good and bad, around money for women who are in communities of faith specifically? Very
Yeah.
specific question.
I think so too. The faith piece is, we're called to serve in that sense, that piety, that piece that it's really about serving the church. Like, that's for me too. I mean, I was like, called myself a professional volunteer because I actually love being there. And we can multitask, we're fixing dinner and going to the grocery store and doing all the things. And for you, working in that perspective of like, you have a turnkey business that you can really put into action those steps while you can still serve your family. And what I think that the issue is too, is that we get overwhelmed. We're just multitasking so much. But what I like to say is, we all have the same amount of time. We have the exact same amount of time that I do. And it's how we manage our activity. And then in that perspective, what you're asking me specifically about that stuckness of money, it's probably just what we've been trained and what we've been taught to have an opportunity to have a conversation with somebody about, let's be curious. I wonder why that is for you. Because I think everyone's independent and it's individual, and the way that we've been formed and the way that our family, we didn't talk about money in my household.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what my paradigm was. And I was like, wait a minute. And then I got married, and my husband, he would talk about investments and these things. And I'd be like, I'd be scared because I felt dumb. I didn't know what it was about. And now it's like, hey, let's have a chat about that. It's fun.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's what, for those of you who are tuning in, what Becky and I did over the summer was really powerful for me because, she would ask me questions about what I desired, what my goals were. And it became really clear to me that I was almost like, well, can I say this? Can I say that I want to do this with my life and my business? Can I say this amount of money? Is that okay? Am I like still doing things the right way? It almost feels like breaking the rules, especially having grown up in a lot of faith communities where the conversation around money is, well, don't love it too much, or don't become evil. Don't do evil things with it. Yeah.
You know what? I think that's a really interesting conversation, because when we do really look at that, the paradigm piece, what those vows are that are subconscious, because then we do have an inner resistance that is subconscious about goals. We can have a goal trauma, it's a small t trauma, that maybe we've tried something in the past and it just didn't go so great. Or we have a financial trauma, and there might be shame around that. Let's just say that maybe your parents went into debt, or you went into credit card debt when you were in college. I mean, who didn't do that in the day?
Right.
My mom was like, go get a credit card. And I was like, okay. But then I had all this drama about it. It was like, whoa, then that became a whole new thing. What I want to share with that too, Jody, in the process of what we worked through with you, is that you got really clear on who your ideal customer was going to be, who your ideal team member was going to be. You got really crystal clear, because what we did is we looked at that paradigm from the past of like, well, wait a minute, I can still serve the church, and I can still do all these things, and I can also contribute financially to our household.
Yes, Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. And I don't know. I think that for a lot of women that I've talked to, who are wired similarly to me, where they have these dreams and ambitions, but they don't know what to do with them. They've just never been shown a path.
Yeah.
They've been told, you should desire this more than this. And it's different to every single person, but you're sitting in a Bible study and everyone's sharing like about their life, and it's very rare to hear a woman actually speak up and say, well, I would really like to be very financially successful. You're just not talking about that at your women's Bible study.
Yes. Okay. And that's a good conversation too, is because it's very personal. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really personal. And that's one thing that I make sure that in that container of conversation that my people feel really safe to talk to me about it. And let's just be curious. That's what's so cool about coaching is you can come into a perspective of it. It's not counseling. It's not therapy. We don't go into the paradigm piece. We just notice it. We look at it. We put it out here. We examine it together. And then you get to decide, I don't really want to be thinking that way anymore. I want it to be a perspective of a giving and charity, and this, not this struggle and the suffering. I think is what we've been taught in that perspective of too as believers is that suffering piece. But it's super subconscious. That's we want to be humble and have that humility, and you just don't talk about it.
Right? Oh my gosh, yes. What kind of breakthrough have you seen? I mean, I'll tell you guys my own experience working with Becky was massive for me. It really actually, that was a big, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but that was a big turning point for me in my relationship, in how I viewed money, goals, success, as a woman, especially as a woman of faith. It was a huge turning point, just being able to say, yeah, this is okay to talk about. This is okay to desire. This is okay to go after. So anyway, I've had a tremendous experience being able to work with Becky. But can you share with me what are some of the breakthroughs that you have seen happen with women that you work with?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of my ladies come into this relationship with me as their coach about dollars and cents. Make more money. I really want to get all these things. The breakthrough that happens is that inner value and worth. That's really what it is. And coming to that perspective of like, wait a minute here. There's more to this puzzle that's really about really getting true on what we want to do. Because sometimes we can be in maybe even a paid position, working in a job that's not super digging it, but you just show up and you do it because that's just what we do. But coming to that place of like, wait a minute, I'm going to go and ask for a raise. I'm going to ask for a promotion because I really would like to be a leader in the place of, let's just even say, ministry. That's where you go in and have that conversation of what's possible here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh boy, that's touching on a whole other can of worms. Is it okay for your ministry leader, your pastor, your church staff member to go ask for a raise? Good question right there. We need to bring Bobby in on this conversation.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
That's so good. I love that. Yeah. And I do think that so much of this, at the end of the day, when at least a lot of the circles that I run in and the women that I'm rubbing shoulders with, their deepest desire is not just to make money for the sake of making money. Their deepest desire is to use money as a powerful tool to impact change. When I talk to the women on my team and ask, like, what are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your visions? It is not, nothing wrong with big houses and fancy vacations and a nicer car. Absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But their first answer out of their mouth is always, I want to pay for adoptions. I want to help support, these friends of mine in ministry. I want to do this. I want to be able to give to this organization that I have a heart for. I want to be able to meet needs on the fly without having to think about it or budget for it. And I think that I talked about this last week, but because as women, I think that there is this God-given ability to nurture and see what needs are and step in and meet them, that if you get more money and more time in the hands of women, I truly believe that that is where massive impact and change is going to come from. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. So passionate about this. So, okay, what is to the woman who's watching who is struggling? I mean, think back to Jody and May. What words of wisdom do you have for the woman who's starting to like step down this path of really identifying and accepting her worth, being able to stand her ground and understand just that her goals are worth it. Anyway, I'm not asking this question well, but what's your wisdom to this woman who feels stuck, who's struggling, and who has this inner battle going on around money?
Yeah, the stuckness piece it really is coming to that, first of all, the awareness that what is highly possible. I like to do a brain dump. I like to just put things on paper and really look at it so that my brain can look at it from a perspective of, oh, okay, so I call the inner resistant, that critter brain, I call it Captain Wildchild. So like, let's just see, she's like the one who's like running around with scissors.
Toddler with scissors.
That's her. And that's really what our brain is believing. It's a primitive perspective of, like when you're thinking about neuroscience and coming to a place of, it's just what your primitive brain does. We're trying to keep up with our primitive brain in a modern world, keeping up with all the things. What I personally, here's my words of wisdom, and people aren't going to dig this too much either, probably. When we can quiet all the noise, get off of social media, even do a detox for like 24 hours, get really quiet and hear what the desires of our heart are, I think that's the first place to start. What do you want? Go outside and get in the leaves, go barefoot, get grounded on the earth, and coming to that perspective of like, what do I want? And even being a woman of faith and being able to have that perspective of like, the Holy Spirit's going to let you know. You'll land in that place of that stillness, we'll get that. We just get like that hamster on the wheel. Got to go. A lot of times we believe our nervous system thinks to be busy means we're productive. We're working so hard.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, filling up that calendar. Yeah, because sometimes what I would love to offer is to be able to feel your feelings in your body.
Yeah.
Even the scary ones, even the ones in the core of our body. We think about like cognitive behavioral techniques, which is really 50% of having a human experience being in our body, which is a gift. 50% is going to have negative emotion. 50% is positive emotion. A lot of us run away from that negative emotion because it doesn't feel so awesome. But if you think about it, it passes. And to be able to be like, I don't like this job I'm in. I've never said that out loud, but I hate going to this job. What else is available out there? Have a chat with Jody. She can tell you. You can still work from home. You can a business in a format that is like a turnkey. What a gift to be able to have that perspective of like, I wonder how that could work for me. It's really having that conversation, first of all, just to get really grounded in your body and be honest with yourself. And then if you don't want someone to see what you've written down, tear it up and throw it away.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. That is so good. And I remember back in the summer that was really scary for me to say out loud what I actually wanted, what I actually desired. And it is really scary. And so, yes, I know, Eileen's joined us. You're speaking her language. I should connect you guys. Eileen we work on the same team, and it's it's amazing. But so I thank you so much, Becky. Okay, I want to know. I'm actually connected. We are streaming to 3 different platforms right now. I'm connected to realtors on LinkedIn and Facebook. And so I would love for, if you're watching this and if you have any sort of a connection or background in real estate, you're currently doing that, check out Becky. Where can people find you? Where can they connect with you?
The best thing, and honestly, I have a free gift. You can come into my website, Becky Clabaugh, CLA, no Y, BAUGH.com, and they got it. You can check in and see, how am I doing in my business in that sense of just like, where do I want to go? Where might my blind spots be? And then I'll be able to chat with you. I also have a really cool speed networking group if you'd like to come to that. And it's the first and third Thursday of every month, where it's just really having that container to learn how to speak your business language of who you are, what you do, who you serve, and practicing that in a really safe container. So when you get out in the world, you can just really say, here's where I am, with no fluff, just get to the point. I'm super efficient in that way. 90 minutes, you're going to have that opportunity to break out into 4 different rooms and get stretched so you can get to mastery. And it's fun though, no pressure.
Love it. And I have worked with Becky, so I vouch that it's been an incredible, really incredible experience.
Thanks.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing some of your wisdom.
Fun.
I'm going to invite Becky back because we do this every Friday, and we just scratched the tip top of the iceberg of this whole mountain of the crazy baggage that we all carry with money. Especially, I'm speaking specifically to women who are in communities of faith during these videos on Friday. But if you are not someone who has, if you're not a person of faith, hey, no problem. We can all benefit from all of this money mindset stuff so much, because it is tied so much to our core identity and our childhood. And I think, so many of us have blocks mentally because of just the unhealthy patterns we have. So thank you so much for joining today. I really appreciate you coming. I just adore you till you're back. And so reach out to Becky if this spoke to you. And I hope you guys have a great weekend.
Yeah.